Here we are, southern terminus of the Pacific Crest Trail. We just got our photos in front of the monument here. We're gonna go down to this little opening and touch the border wall. So that's what we're doing. The official southern terminus is up there. You can see some other hikers getting their photos. Here's the border wall. The other side of that, ladies and gentlemen, is Mexico. Crazy, crazy.
I just went to Mexico.
You just went to Mexico. And so our journey begins. 1 mile mark. The iconic 1 mile mark on the Pacific Crest Trail. So we are about 10 miles in, give or take. And we've been taking breaks in dappled shady spots like this here. And it's now middle of the day. We got about 6 miles left or so before we get to camp. And the sun is high in the sky. It was nice and cool and cloudy this morning and actually drizzled for a while. But it cleared up, sun came out. And now we're in the 80s, and needless to say, that sun is very intense. So we're covered up and protecting ourselves from the sun. So that's where we're at. Otherwise, things are going great. Over 10 miles in, and we can still see the border wall way back there. So we're trying to ditch that right now. So we just came to a water cache at about 14 miles in near Hauser Creek, and yeah, topped off there with about 4 liters, which is very heavy, by the way. So we decided not to stay down in Hauser Creek at the 15-mile mark. So now we're hiking out of it, which is one of the steepest parts. Well, definitely the steepest part of the trail we've encountered so far. So about, I think 1 point, maybe 4-ish miles from the creek bed, dry creek bed, I should say, to the first potential campsites. 800 or 900 foot elevation gain. So this should put us right around 16, 17 miles for the day, depending on where we're going to stop. But the backpack is heavy, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone, first tent spot on the PCT, 16.5 miles today. About 1.5 miles further than we intended to go this morning, but got a pretty good tent spot. Lake Marina County Park. Trash cans, toilets, amenities. But more importantly at this point, water. All right, we just left Lake Marina, county campground, the county park that's there. Trail pretty much goes right through it. And washed our hands with some running water and soap, which was nice. Got rid of our trash. And now we're back on trail. Day 2, it's about 10 o'clock. Broke out the umbrella. It's definitely 80 or so degrees today. No cloud cover. It was sun right from the get-go, so it warmed up a lot quicker. Couldn't use our umbrellas yesterday because it was kind of a bushwhacky type day, but today the trail is much wider, as you can see here, and no danger of ripping the umbrella, so makes a huge difference. Hike number 2. Getting some sunshine. Not a rattler. Not sure what kind that is, but we're just gonna
Leave it alone.
leave it alone and mosey on by. Hot and unforgiving.
Hot.
In case you're wondering what a break spot looks like down here, it's a clump of manzanita. We got some dapple shade right here. And if you go back a little further, there you go. It's as good as it gets. Back at it. Trail goes along that way. You can see a couple of hikers that we've been hiking with. Hi there! First place where we've had to filter water, believe it or not. We're probably right around mile 30, Kitchen Creek. The water we've gotten so far was either the water we started with or water we got out of campground or cache that someone left. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. It's flowing, which is good, but it's in a little canyon area here, and we're going to be filtering our water and loading up and moving on for a couple more miles to camp. Just filled up with about 4.5 liters, 5 liters Headed to camp. That's pretty cool. Good morning. Day 3. 6:10 in the morning. Yeah, I just broke camp. Early start, heading into Mount Laguna to pick up our package. That's the plan for now. Looks like another 15 or so mile day. And the sun is out. So summary of day 2. We did about 15.8 miles. We stayed at this little canyon area, Fred Canyon. There's a little creek, dry creek bed down there. So we dry camped last night. The campsite wasn't too bad. Wasn't many level spots, but we did find a reasonably level one. But didn't sleep very well. Just due to another camper that came in late, an older guy, and was a little too loud for us. So a lot of on and off sleep last night, but it is what it is. Headed to Mount Laguna to pick up our resupply package, our first resupply package, about 10 miles away. So we hope to be there by midday. It's gonna be a beautiful day. Looks like about another 15 miles today. Day 3 on the Pacific Crest Trail. I feel like a vampire. As soon as the sun comes over that hill right there, shortly, it's gonna start cooking. I've been hiking this all day, but man, once that sun comes out, it's a whole different game. Temperature seems to warm up like 10, 20 degrees in a very short period of time. But trying to make the miles while we still have a little shade. And there it is. Sunrise on day 3. Beautiful. Look at that. All right, just took a little break at Long Canyon Creek. 5.5 mile mark for today. So we should be right around the 37-ish miles total for the PCT so far. This beginning of day 3. We checked our water levels and we're good. And it's about 5.5 miles to the spur trail to take us into Mount Laguna. So that's where we're headed next. Coming up on Mount Laguna here in a bit, about 6,000 feet of elevation. That's where Mount Laguna sits, at about 6,000 feet. And our first resupply box that we ship to ourselves. Beautiful views. Crazy, crazy. Beautiful. Coming into Mount Laguna. Fresh snacks in our box. A little bit of a road walk. Post office right ahead. Road walk is not technically part of the PCT. We had to get off the PCT to do a little road walk into town. And then we'll turn around and go back up where we left off. Gonna take, I think, maybe an hour or two here, depending on what's going on and how we feel. Recharge, repack our bags, and do a little bit of planning and head back on out. All right, just resupplied at Mount Laguna. Got our 2-day resupply plus a bunch of snacks that we shipped ourselves, and headed out. Check out this view. That is amazing. Look at that. Crazy. I'm gonna see if I can get a better view for you guys here. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy view. So anyway, we picked up our resupply box at Mount Laguna and we're headed back on trail. Getting back down to the PCT here. And gonna kind of play it by ear. We really don't know where we're gonna camp. Technically, we could go another 5 or so miles to the Laguna Mountain campground. But we have to pay $35 there. We're in this weird no camping area restriction because it's all part of the Laguna recreation zone or something like that. So you can't camp here in certain areas. It's like a 12-mile swath. So we haven't, the only real option we have is paying to stay at this campground. One of the most amazing views, actually the most amazing view we have seen so far here on the PCT.
And Arizona's in the distance.
Yeah, Arizona's way, way out there somewhere. What a view. You think you're hiking the so-called desert section of the PCT. You look down there and you're like, yeah, that's the desert. That's the low desert. That's desert. All right, we are coming up on Mount Laguna campground. It's a little ways off the trail, so we're doing a little bit of a road walk right now to get there. I think it's more than a half mile or so, maybe even a quarter mile. But even though I don't think we're gonna stay there, we may. We have to get water there. So we just met a trail angel at the entrance to the Laguna Park here and saved us from walking down into the park. They loaded us up with a bunch of water, so we are going to continue on another 5 or so miles to the northern edge of this restricted camping area and camp. And that's going to put us like over 20 miles today, especially with all these little side quests we're doing. We'll probably get there around 5:30 or so, maybe. So it's not too bad, but it's going to be a long day. So that's the plan. Breeze has picked up a little. It feels great. We still have 3 miles or so, 3.5 miles or so to camp. That breeze feels really good. Not even quite the end of day 3 yet, and we just passed the 50-mile mark. The funny thing is, we didn't even know we were at 50 miles. Weren't even really thinking about it until we saw that somebody had ridden it in the dirt just off the trail. So that's pretty cool. Only like 2,600 left to go, but you take it in little baby steps. A couple more miles to camp, and that should be like, including all the little side trails and stuff we took today, like maybe like 22 miles, give or take. Almost there. End of day 3. We were at camping at mile 53. We made it to the exterior northern edge of the no camping area. All in all, I think we did about 22 miles today, 21 trail miles, 22 total with some side trails into Mount Laguna. And it is late, we are tired, and that is all. Good morning. Day 4 on the Pacific Crest Trail. Look at that view. Amazing. Mile marker 53, give or take. Plan is to get as close to Julian as we can today. Day 4 of the Pacific Crest Trail. We about 3 miles away from camp. Much cooler out today. A lot of cloud cover, thankfully. Thoughts so far for today, after doing about 23 or so miles yesterday. First 23-mile day in a long time. Maybe even since the Appalachian Trail. Because I'm very happy, we're very happy with the way our bodies are performing. One of the big concerns we had coming into this long hike, as some of you may know, is that we had a lot of overuse injuries that we had to deal with coming off the AT 24, 25. A lot of physical therapy the last 6 months prior to hitting trail. We had in addition to going to PT like 2 days a week, hitting the gym consistently 3 days or so a week, and then on top of that we were hiking 40 to 50 miles. So it's good to see that all of our training is paying off, at least thus far. Our legs and bodies are holding out well, and yeah, all that hard work is paying off. So that was a big concern we had. We were on a very tight, in addition to all the training we were doing, we were on a very tight diet, counting calories, weighing all of our food out, focusing on a muscle building diet and building plenty of muscle before trail. So yeah, seems to be paying off. So we're very happy with that. In the meantime, we're enjoying these views. What's not to like about that? About 3.5 miles to our first possible selection of camp sites and next water source. It is, although it started out cool this morning, it has been hot, hot, hot the last few hours. So that'll set us up, depending on what we see tonight, anywhere between 5 to maybe 8 miles from where the road is to get into Julian. So the plan is tomorrow to get us close to Highway 78, I think it is. Hopefully around 8 o'clock-ish, maybe 9, and get a hitch into Julian. Although Julian's considered a trail town, the trail doesn't actually go through the town. It's like 7 miles outside of town, so we had a hitch into town. So that's the plan. But right now the plan is to find a nice quiet campsite tonight, because the last 2 nights haven't been that good. One thing that I think I forgot to say earlier is that the tent site we had last night was just terrible. Wasn't really meant for a 2-person tent, and it was so windy. Our tent was just flapping in the breeze all night long, and we couldn't sleep. So we're gonna pick a much more sheltered spot tonight. Hopefully, nice quiet spot, and that is the priority for now. Here's our fellow hikers. Check this cactus out. First cactus in bloom that we've seen.
Alrighty.
Day 5 on the Pacific Crest Trail. Beautiful sunrise. Coming down to Julian. Good morning. Day 5 on the Pacific Crest Trail, just past mile marker 72. And we're headed down to Scissors Crossing to get a hitch, 7-mile hitch into Julian, where we will spend an overnight there, head back out the next day. We stayed last night at the last water source. In total, would have been about 9 miles from Scissors Crossing, so a few miles back. Pretty decent night's sleep, better than we had, but we are excited to get into town. After over 4 days on trail, we're looking forward to doing some laundry and taking a shower. But in the meantime, enjoying these views. Less than a mile from Scissors Crossing. Less than a half mile from Scissors Crossing. Civilization. Scissors Crossing. And we shall attempt to get a hitch. And just like that, we are in Julian. Gentleman picked us up that does rides for hikers all the time. And here we will spend the next 24 hours or so. All right, we are in Julian. We just picked up 2 days worth of food at the post office to get us for our next leg, but we are staying here overnight. So we're headed to our little place that we're staying at. I have to say, it's a cute little town, but if you're expecting like a good selection of fresh produce or anything like that when you get here, you are not gonna get it. Although you have to stop at Mom's Pie and get your free slice of pie. They had vegan pie and they gave us some coffee and everything. You just gotta show your PCT permit. So that was pretty cool. But if you're expect to come in and get a nice bag of fresh lettuce, or even a head of fresh lettuce, some tomatoes, or any fresh veg that's reasonably inexpensive, good luck. Both grocery stores that we stopped at looking for those kind of things, even plain seltzer water, could not find And the produce was very sad looking and very, very expensive. Everything was very expensive. So be prepared to drop some money while you're here, if that's the kind of stuff you're looking for. And lower your expectations. But other than that, it's a cute town. So we're gonna be chilling here the next 24 hours before we hit the trail again tomorrow. So we'll see you on the flip side.